Hello everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. I know that makes me unprofessional. Wow, I'm really late. I have basically been, as I promised, whenever I am a little late, it's because I'm trying to get things finished to show you. Because I've been requested to have some visuals when I do the stories. The stories are a bit long, and some people want to have a little help just imagining things. And the only thing I forgot is I need some beverages, and I don't have them. I have munchies, but I'm so dried out, and you're gonna hear. I guess I'll turn off the fan. It's been a really hot day. I've actually punched out quite a lot of stuff, revamping original things I had done a long time ago before I had an avatar, and I've started to revamp those things so that they could be watched in a different way, although they are with still frame single pictures and not motion pictures. And I know that bothers some of you, but I wanted to get a few things done um, as quickly as possible because I have a surgery coming up and other stuff is going on, workmen doing their things, and I'm just trying to stay cool and not get sick because of heat exhaustion or anything like that. So I hope you guys are fine, and I hope you guys have got something to hydrate with. And I'm going to be just a quick second. Now, I have a new cave story for you because a couple of weeks ago, Hero Flame said, I want to hear some stories in caves. Some are more creepy than others. Some have a little more supernatural than others. This one I put together very cartoony to be as quick as I could. Not so much spooky as quirky adventure, but it is about four men in a cave. Now, give me just a quick moment. I don't see anyone live here just yet, but that may be my fault because I'm 20 something minutes late. So sorry. I didn't think it took me that long to populate just a few screens, but let me just grab my thing and then we're gonna get started. Please get something to hydrate if you can. Okay, as for me, I'm doing two things. I've got aloe vera juice. Now, I know it does have a lot of sugar, but drinking aloe vera, and I know it's better to have it without the sugar, but aloe vera helps to prevent cancer cells from connecting with each other and turning into the clumps and lumps and benign or not benign things that are in our body. It helps to keep them from connecting. So for people that are afraid of things like cancer, I found out about aloe gel from a lady that used to drink it all the time, although it was the unsweetened one. It's a little hard to do, but it's sort of like sour grape skin. Like if you've ever eaten grapes right off the vine and you taste the skin before it's ripe enough for humans, but raccoons are eating them up. You're worried you won't have enough for you. So you start eating them in September instead of waiting for October, and that's kind of like what the aloe gel stuff tastes like. But there are sweetened versions which are easy to do, a tiny bit sour, but mostly refreshing. And it never gives me a kickback to my stomach that makes me feel sick, and it never gives me headaches or stomach aches. So I approve of this message. Get aloe vera. If you've never tried it before, try it once just to see if you like it. Now, today's story for Tuck In and Chill is all about four men in a cave, written by Stephen Crane. It was published in 1892, and it's considered an adventure and a quirky adventure. But it's all in a cave, so we get to see what spelunkers see. And we're going to get started. So I'm just getting ready in front of you now, getting my wordings ready, getting my screens ready, and I know if you have questions. I was doing a mind break video today about cows, moo moo ka-choo, and I just was too busy to head back to the dressing room, so I thought, we'll just pretend this is a onesie, and we're just gonna live with it, huh? So I'm gonna remove myself. Booyah! Bling bling bling. Here we go. And as soon as I quench my whistle, we will get started. I'm being bad. but it's only a tiny can. Orange Crush. Just a tiny one. And then I have 3 bottles of water lined up next to the aloe vera. We're going to do this. I have a whole bunch. I bought a whole bunch today. Okay. Setting the scene. Get closer. Here we go. Venus Callida reads 4 Men and a Cave by Stephen Crane. This work is in the public domain. It was published in 1892. The moon rested for a moment on the top of a tall pine on a hill. The little man was standing in front of the campfire making orations to his companions. "We can tell a great tale when we get back to the city if we investigate this thing," he said in conclusion. And they were one. The little man was determined to explore a cave because its black mouth had gaped at him. The 4 men took a light pine knot and clambered over boulders down a hill. In a thicket on the mountainside lay a little tilted hole. At its side they halted. "Well?" said the little man. They fought for last place, and the little man was overwhelmed. He tried to struggle from under by crying that if the fat, pudgy man came after, he would be corked. But he finally administered a cursing over his shoulder and crawled into the hole. His companions gingerly followed. A passage, the floor of damp clay and pebbles, the walls slimy, green mossed and dripped, sloped downwards. In the cave atmosphere, the torches became studies in red blaze and black smoke. "Ho!" cried the little man, stifled and bedraggled. "Let's go back." His companions were not brave. They were last. The next one to the little man pushed him on, so the little man said sulphurous words and cautiously continued his crawl. Things that hung seemed to be on the wet, uneven ceiling, ready to drop upon the men's bare necks. Under their hands, the clammy floor seemed alive and writhing. When the little man endeavored to stand erect, the ceiling forced him down. Knobs and points came out and punched him. His clothes were wet and mud-covered. His eyes, nearly blinked by smoke, tried to pierce the darkness always before his torch. "Oh, I say, you fellows, let's go back," cried he. At that moment he caught the gleam of trembling light in the blurred shadows before him. "Oh," he said, "here's another way out." The passage turned abruptly. The little man put one hand around the corner, but it touched nothing. He investigated and discovered that the little corridor took a sudden dip down a hill. At the bottom shone a yellow light. The little man wriggled painfully about and descended feet in advance. The others followed his plan. All picked their way with anxious care. The traitorous rocks rolled from beneath the little man's feet and roared thunderously down below. Lesser stones, loosened by the men above him, hit him on the back. He gained seemingly firm foothold and, turning halfway about, swore redly at his companions for a dozen careless fools, you dolts. The pudgy man sat, puffing and perspiring, high in the rear of the procession. The fumes and smoke from 4 pine knots were in his blood. Cinders and sparks lay thick in his eyes and hair. The pause of the little man angered him. "Go on, you fool," he shouted. "Poor painted men, you're afraid." "Oh," said the little man, Come down here and go on yourself, imbecile! The pudgy man vibrated with passion. He leaned downward. Idiot! He was interrupted by one of his feet, which flew out and crashed into the man in front of and below. It's not well to quarrel upon a slippery incline. When the unknown is below, the fat man, having lost the support of one pillar-like foot, lurched forward. His body smote the next man, who hurled into the next man. And then they all fell upon the cursing little man. Idiot! They slid in a body down over the slippery, slimy floor of the passage. The stone avenue must have wibble-wobbled, and the rush of the ball of tangled men, strangled cries, and the torches went out, and the combined assault upon the little man. The adventurers whirled into the unknown in darkness. The little man felt that he was pitching to death, but even in his convulsions, he bit and he scratched his companions, for he was satisfied that it was their fault. The swirling mass went some 20 feet and lit upon a level, dry place. Strong yellow light of candles. It dissolved and became eyes. The 4 men lay upon the floor of a gray chamber. A small fire smoldered in the corner, the smoke disappearing in a crack. In another corner was a bed of faded hemlock boughs and 2 blankets. Cooking utensils and clothes lay about, with boxes and a barrel. Of these things the 4 men took small cognizance. The pudgy man did not curse the little man, nor did the little man swear. In the abstract, 8 widened eyes were fixed upon the center of the room of rocks. A great gray stone cut squarely like an altar sat in the middle of the floor. Over it burned 3 candles. The swaying tin cups hung from the ceiling. Before it, with what seemed to be a small volume collapsed in his yellow fingers, stood a man. He was an infinitely sallow person in the brown check shirt, the plows and cows. The rest of his apparel was boots. A long gray beard dangled from his chin. He fixed, glinting, fiery eyes upon the heap of men, and remained motionless. Fascinated, their tongues cleaving, their blood cold, they arose to their feet. Gleaming glance of the recluse swept slowly over the group till it found the face of the little man. There it stayed and burned. The little man shriveled and crumpled as the dried leaf under the glass. Finally the recluse slowly, deeply spoke. It was a true voice from a cave, cold, solemn, and damp. "It's your auntie," he said. "What?" said the little man. The hermit tilted his beard and a laugh that was either the chatter of a banshee in a storm or the rattle of pebbles in a tin box. His visitors' flesh seemed ready to drop from their bones. They huddled together and cast fearful eyes over their shoulders, and they whispered. "A vampire," said one. "A ghoul," said the other. "A druid before the sacrifice," murmured another. "The shade of an Aztec witch doctor," said the little man. As they looked, the inscrutable face underwent a change. It became a livid background for his eyes, which blazed at the little man like impassioned Carbuncles. His voice arose a howl of ferocity. It's your auntie! With a panther-like motion, he drew a long, thin knife and advanced, stooping. Two cadaverous hounds came from nowhere, and scowling and growling, they made desperate feints at the little man's legs. His quaking companions pushed him forward. Tremblingly, he put his hand to his pocket. How much? He said, with a shivering look at the knife that glittered. The carbuncles faded. $3, said the hermit, in sepulchral tones which rang against the walls and among the passages, awakening long-dead spirits with voices. The shaking little man took a roll of bills from a pocket and placed 3 ones upon the altar-like stone. The recluse looked at the little volume with reverence in his eyes. It was a pack of playing cards. Under the 3 swinging candles upon the altar-like stone, the gray beard and the agonizing little man played at poker. The 3 other men crouched in a corner, staring with eyes that gleamed with terror. Before them sat the cadaverous hounds, licking their red lips. The candles burned low and began to flicker. The fire in the corner expired. Finally, the game came to a point where the little man laid down his hand and he quavered, I can't call you this time, sir. I'm dead broke. What? Shrieked the recluse. Not call me villain dastard. Cur! I have 4 queens, miscreant. His voice grew so mighty that it could not fit his throat. He choked, wrestling with his lungs for a moment. Then the power of his body was concentrated in a word. Go. He pointed a quivering yellow finger at a wide crack in the rock. The little man threw himself at it with a howl. His erstwhile frozen companions fled, and they felt their blood throb again. With great bounds they plunged after the little man. A minute of scrambling, falling, and pushing brought them to open air. They climbed the distance to their camp in furious springs. The sky in the east was a lurid yellow. In the west, the footprints of departing night lay on the pine trees in front of their replenished camp. There, the campfire there, sat John Willerkins, the guide. Hello, he shouted at their approach. Be you fellers ready to go deer hunting? Without replying, they stopped and debated amongst themselves in whispers. Finally, the pudgy man came forward. John, he inquired, do you know anything peculiar about this cave below here? Yes, said Wilkins at once. Tom Gardner. What? Said the pudgy man. Tom Gardner. How's that? Well, you see, said the Wilker slowly, as he took dignified pulls at his pipe, Tom Gardner was once a family man who lived in these here parts on a nice leaf farm. He used to go away to the city often, and one time he got a gambling in one of them there dens. He went to the dickens right quick then. At last he come home one time, told his folks he had up and sold the farm and all he had in the world. His little wife, she died then. Tom, he went crazy soon after. The narrative was interrupted by the little man, who became possessed of devils. I wouldn't give a cuss if he had left me enough money to get home on the doggone gray-haired red pirate, he shrilled in a seething sentence. The pudgy man gazed at the little man calmly and sneeringly. Oh, well, he said, we can tell a great tale when we get back to the city after having investigated this thing. Go to the devil, replied the little man. Doody 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 doo doo doo. Alright, I'm just refreshing my chat button now. Well, I'm glad I found a story that was just more fun than anything. I hope you enjoyed my little cartoony characters too. Can't always be about V. Anyhow, let's get this all going here. What are we gonna do? Here I am, Moo Kitchu in the little old cave. So, usually at this time, if we were going live, if my subscribers were here with me on Friday night, usually Cyan, Dark Alice, sometimes Viscana, Hero Flame, and Tishy Adams would be out and about and chatting in, but I know some people just got home from being out of town, and I know some of you are studying because you're in summer school, and I know some of you are just really tired. We talked online like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and so I know if you're in bed right now, I don't blame you. You couldn't sleep last night, so. But for those of you watching this as after the live episode is over and you're just scrolling through the stories, I hope you like this story. I found it was cute and fun. I know that my graphics were not the most serious, but sometimes you just have to have some fun and just a visual to sort of help out. And let's see what my favorite picture is in this cave. I don't know. Where would a cow go? This hole here is kind of funny. Yeah. Oh, I'm too tall for this one. Yep. But anyway, so we'll shut that down. And what I committed to this year, when viewers are not live online with me, once I finish the story, then I'm going to log out. And however, yesterday I slept through. I fell asleep and I slept through gamer night. So maybe what I can do is I'll split this up, and I'm going to go offline here. I'm going to just refresh myself. And I'm going to come back online for gaming, but I'm going to do it on the Twitch side because I haven't been there in the last few days. I did, and for those of you who did try to watch me when I tried to play Harry Potter, channeling the little kitten, I was trying to download VTube and Steam and all of that on my tiny little cheapo laptop. But it's just not powerful enough, so it made this weird glitch and it kept kicking me. But I had no idea it was making infinite numbers of loops of me trying to run the feed. Hero Flame definitely alerted me to that, and I got rid of most of them. But if some had my voice for just a little bit, I left them in there for now, and I'll decide about that later. I mean, maybe I should just take them down, but I just thought the little cat with the blue hair was cute to channel a little animagus kitty cat. So, if anybody would like to talk to me, and I'm not here on YouTube for Tuck and Chill, I'm going to do a little bit of gaming right now. What time is it? Oh, wow, it's not even 11 o'clock. So, the people who usually see me in Tuck and Chill, I used to do it at 11 o'clock at night and take us into 1 in the morning, so that by then I actually put people to sleep. And those of us still awake would share ghost stories. But in this case, I'm kind of out of ghost stories right now, which is funny because I've watched a lot of ghost hunting shows since then. But yeah, I have not collected any new ones. I think the smudging and all that really works. So yeah. So yeah, that's it. If anybody has a request for another theme for stories for Tuckin' and Chill nights, this was to satisfy Hero's wish for some cave stories. So I found 2 in the public domain. This was the second of the 2. If you check out my playlist for Tuckin' and Chill, last Friday we did a different one about a cave, which was more of a spooky one. This one was more of this is cute, just quirky. And still funny, even though it was written in 1892. So, found that interesting. Let me know what kind of themes you want me to hit on for the next Tuckin' and Chill. which will be, I think, 2 or 3 weeks from now. But I'll just check my schedule for that. So I'm going to head out. I'm going to buy out, and I'm going to head into the gamer world, and I'm going to keep on this Moo suit because me like he. I want a cow onesie. It's kind of rude, but it's not your fault. You're not being rude. A cow has udders. So, that's it for tonight. I hope if you're checking in a bit late that you'll see this feed and know that I'm over on the Twitch side. Some of you are there with me too anyways, so you'll find me. Because I think it does it tells on Twitter when I go live. So I'm going to do that. Have a wonderful night. Don't forget to hydrate. Stay cool out there. It's not fun if you get heat stroke. I've had it before. You don't want to get it. Stay cool. I'm going to open up some windows now. And I've got my fans going, but it's just moving the hot air. I even have a vent open trying to give the hot air a way out. But gonna have to do a little more. Good thing I still have my ice cubes. So, have a great night, and I will see you guys next time. I think next time I'll be live will be on Sunday for Dragonflight, on Tuesday for Riddle Me Din Din. I've got a lot of stuff in still frame videos coming up in the next week, but I also have some of the fun and quirky and cute memes coming up, 1 or 2 per day, to keep you guys busy because I'm trying to get things pre-posted before other things happen. And maybe we'll be discovering new themes, new ways to do things for August. We shall see. Alright everyone, I keep saying it. Good night. This is Venus Callida.